Thanks for joining me here today at Piscean Plant Boy. My name is Cody, and today I am going to be showing you how I propagate my Philodendron Verrucosum. So I got this plant in the beginning of March from Ecugenaria, and I got them from a pop-up. It didn't lose any of its leaves, but as you can see, um, or it might have lost one leaf actually. But as you can see, it's kind of long and it's in my IKEA cabinet, and so it's kind of outgrowing it. And so what I want to do was chop it up and um, obviously root it and then put it into a moss pole so it can get some pretty big leaves. So this is its biggest leaf, which is its oldest, or second oldest rather. And it's not very big, but these ones are pretty small, so I just want to try to size them up. So you want to take your plant. You also want to get isopropyl propyl alcohol, 70%. You don't want to do anything stronger because it might harm the plant. Um, but you want to take it. I always use a rag, that way I'm not wasting paper towels. Take the top off, spill it a little bit. You just want to pour some in on your rag, or I can't believe I just did that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, 70%. You're going to put it on your rag, and I like using rags, so we're not wasting any paper towels. And then you just want to wipe your scissors or whatever you're using to cut them. I have these little dollar store cutters that I got last year. So what I want to do is there's a node down here, so I know their growth point will pop up from that. So I'm gonna chop it up here. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna keep it just in case. And then I'm gonna chop this right here. And you wanna make sure that you're leaving a node. The node is on philodendrons are where the leaf comes from. This is a leafless node, so I'll just do this as a wet stick, but you just want to make sure that you have a node or your plant won't grow. So I'm just going to chop these. I'm leaving lots of stem on them just in case we get any rot. Okay. And what I do is I get rooting hormone, which I forgot to grab, so I'm going to go grab that real quick. And I'm back. So we have this. I have it in a different container because it's easier to get it on the roots. So what I like to do is make sure that you put it on both ends, and you also want to put the roots in it. So I'll show you. As you can see, there's some on the tip, the node, and the other side, and I'm going to do that for all three, or how many are there? There's 3 cuttings with leaves and 2 without, so for a total of 5. And then I'm trying something new. I saw Unplanned Parenthood, Unplanned Plant Parenthood, or whatever her name on YouTube and Instagram. She did like a little greenhouse, so I'm gonna try it again, especially because this is in my IKEA cabinet, and I don't really have room in my IKEA cabinet to keep these. So I'm just gonna stick them in there. You just want to make sure that your nodes are covered in water. So I need a little bit more water. So let me get some of that. Here's my Taco Bell cup. And what she had in the video was she had 2 cups stacked on top of each other. So I thought this was small enough to just shove them in there, but I don't want to shove them in there. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the wet sticks. I'm definitely going to leave these out to dry and callus over for a couple hours, and then I will probably put them in moss. So I didn't have a second cup, but I do have this plastic bag. So what I'm going to do is first see if I can just put it in there. Oh yeah, that's perfect. And I'm gonna zip it up, and you want to do this because not only is it really good for the propagations, but I had this in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and that sits at about 95% humidity. And so inside in my like normal ambient room, it's probably about 40, maybe 50 in the summertime. So you don't want it to distress the cuttings any more than that. So I'm just gonna put this in a baggie, and that should create um, like a greenhouse effect. And so I'm gonna put these under my grow lights in the plastic baggie. I'm gonna put these in moss. I'm back. I have this little Tupperware container from sushi that I got. So what I do is I want to fill it up with moss, and then I have this. This has what is it called? Dynagrow foliage uh, fertilizer in it. I normally use it for foliar spray, or let me rephrase that. I'm just starting to use it as a foliar spray. So I'm gonna just spray this because I always like to have some fertilizer in my props for when it starts rooting. So you just want to spray it until it's wet, because you don't want it soaking wet, but you do want it damp. So I'm just gonna spray it some more. Also spraying it, I feel like gives it a little boost of humidity. But you don't want it too wet that it's soaking. Like when you, so the way that you know moss is wet enough is that, or is too wet rather, is if you squeeze it and you have a bunch of water coming out. So this is a little too wet. So, but it's not like consistently too wet. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just squeeze it together, and that should allow access. And what I also like to do is to keep the humidity up, just spray the top. And then you can just place it in like that. And I have these, and put it on top. And I think I want to label it, but so I'm gonna label it with some tape that I have. I'm gonna do that, and then I'll see you in the next part in a couple weeks when they start doing something. See you then. Well, I'm back. I'm here to give you a 2-week update on the Verrucosum cuttings I did 2 weeks ago. But let me show you. There's a little bit of growth, but you'll see. As you can see, I kept them in this bag. So let me just grab them. All right, so here we go. So let's see if we can see anything. And here I also put melanochrysum prop in there, so we can look at that. But I'm pretty sure all of them have new growth point, even the top cut. So we have this one. I don't see any new root growth, but that's okay. We have this one. Okay, so I have the tray here. Ooh, I already see a growth point in this one. And some roots. We have a little bit of root growth, which is exciting. These ones might be doing better than the ones in the or in the water. If this will focus, I don't think I see anything. Maybe, no, I think that's a piece of moss. Come on, focus. It's not focusing, but there's nothing really going on with this guy, which is fine. He can take his time. No rush. So I'll put this back on. This. It's a little dry, so I'm also going to wet this, but I'm not going to do that on camera. So I will see you in the next update. Well, here we are. Today is June 15th, so we are little over 2 months after I initially cut them. And I'm just going to show you how I put the cuttings back into the pot and put them on a moss pole. I've already made the moss pole, so we have that. You'll see that in a moment. But I will see you guys in just a second after I get all set up. Okay, so let's show you the roots. We have 3 cuttings. We have this one here, and I'll tell you about this one in a second. But I decided not to put that one in the pot, but we'll go over that in just a second. We have these 2, which we are going to pot up, and so they have lots of roots, new growth points. This has a fully functioning leaf already. This one has a tiny leaf. But this one, I think I decided to, because it has 2 growth points. Now, I might have fucked that one up, but we'll see. But there's another node, so I feel like I should chop it, especially since there is a little growth point. And then grow those out to be like trade or to sell. So let me tell you what we're gonna need to pot these up. I got this, I think it was from those like fungus gnat, like strip pad things. Came with these one times, and I like it because it has like a shovelly like spoon, and a pointed end. You could easily use a spoon or some other kind of digging utensil. I like my plant Velcro and my scissors. We're gonna need a little bit of soil, and I don't know where all. Okay, so some of the amendments are down there, but in the scoop there's not a lot, so maybe I should add some, but we're only using a little bit, so it should be fine. And then we have this moss pole that I made, and since we're not repotting it, we have to just stick this in. So I have these on little things. What are they called? Skewers. And they're like bamboo, so they're not as rot, or they don't easily rot. So we're going to have this, the cuttings. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is put the moss pole in. We're not repotting this because it's only been potted up for 3 months, and I don't want to put it through trauma again like that. So what I'm going to do is just stick this down in there. Bring it up a little bit so it's not. We have like that. So to give it enough room for this cutting, what we're then going to do is we're going to carefully move up. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just going to put this out of the way. But we're just slowly making a hole because I know there's roots here. Yeah, see there's a root. You just want to be gentle because you don't want to break any roots on this guy. That's why I like this thing, because you can just kind of go in there and squeeze around. So I feel like that's a little less disruptive. Yeah, I don't know if this one broke or not, but yeah. Oh, okay. So I definitely did damage some roots, but that's okay. That's why we have the extra soil too, so we can fudge it a little bit. So we're gonna take this cutting. Now this is gonna grow. Okay, these roots down, and we want the new growth point like able to grow up against the moss pole. So just like that. And we're gonna make sure we do the same thing for this guy. So they'll grow up like that. This can go on this side. And all these leaves will probably move to adjust, get maximum light. in the cabinet, which I do have. I always talk about my IKEA cabinet, so if you haven't checked it out, I actually do have a video up of me showing it off to you guys. I'm just giving you a little bit of a tour. There might have been a couple additions to it since then, but it's mostly the same. Um, yeah, so also, sorry I keep saying that. I'm gonna try to work on it. But you want to take your Velcro tape, and I measure it out with the moss pole, so we're not wasting. And what I like to do is just cut this in half so we can, you know, stretch everything as far as possible. Because, you know, shit ain't cheap right now. But before we do that, I do want to put a little bit more soil here. And just so we have, buried a little baby leaf. I want this up here so it can photosynthesize. And we're just gonna kind of, yeah, okay, that should be good, at least for now. And you know, you can always touch it up later if you need to. But so you take your Velcro, and I think I'm just gonna do the taller one for now because the other ones might be too short. I don't want to damage them, so I'm just gonna kind of press it in, make sure because these have little tiny aerial nodes. So we just want to make sure to tuck those in, and I always like to make sure I Velcro on the backside just because you can get like a tighter fit to it because you can, I don't know, it's just easier for me at least. So there we go. Yeah, you guys can see it. Sorry, I also can't see like what you guys can see. Like I can't always look to see what you're looking at, so I do apologize. But yeah, so I think I'm going to pot this up first before I cut it. So let me actually do that on camera. Then back, and we're going to use this little black one. And I'm just going to take my soil. And I'm going to stick this in there. And then, so I stuck it down in there. And I'm just going to fill it up with soil. Okay, so I'm just going to show you both of these side by side. I do want to say, I'm going to water this right when I put it into the prop box. So my prop box has to get watered today. So I'm going to do that all at once with this guy. This is still pretty wet, so I'm just going to leave it, and I'll spray it a little bit just near the two new ones so the other one doesn't get wet. And then I'm going to put this back in the cabinet. And I just want to say thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye, guys.